So I just wanted to, even though you could barely see my face, my uncle's porch light is on. Let me get some. Wanted to sit here and come on and just say this real quick, and then I'm gonna go. Tell somebody else this. I'm telling you this and making it short. In recent news, well, whenever you get the chance, go see the new Spider-Verse movie that's in theaters and whatnot. And I'm gonna do another video about that. And want to sit here and come out here and say that in recent news, I've noticed that the Bible is changing. And keep in mind, and I haven't read the whole entire Bible, but I know I've memorized like certain chapters and verses and stuff. Some of the stuff in the Bible I haven't read, mainly because I haven't been led to read it. But point is, in the New Testament, I always bring up in my videos, I've always had the phrase, that there are many heavens. It says this in the Bible. And it probably, I hope I'm not butchering it, but before in my videos, if they're still there and not in another world or whatever, I would sit there and say that there are many heavens. In the New Testament, it says this as bright as day as I don't know what. And I want to sit here and come out and say that that is no longer there. It is gone. When you type in on Google, there are many heavens, or you type in the phrase many heavens, the Bible or Bible Hub, you won't find it. It'll lead you to Deuteronomy, and you'll see like a bunch of other stuff about how there are, a bunch of other stuff about like how different religions interpret how many levels of heavens there are and whatnot. In which case, apparently, I'll go into that in a minute. In which case, apparently, that's changed because in the book of Enoch, it says that there are 10 levels of heaven, even though technically there's 7, which I don't know if I'm butchering that or if my memory sucks or I didn't read up on that or whatever, right? Point is, when I sit here and come out and say that the verse, whatever chapter, whatever book it was in, which I know was the New Testament, it says that there are many heavens. That verse is gone. I can sit here and tell you that that verse is gone because a person who educated me on this stuff, even though she is no longer credible, she said that in her videos. And if you know who I'm talking about, kudos to you and whatnot. But I also do remember this person sitting over here saying that when I would binge watch her videos, that she was doing a Bible study one day. I don't know if this is when her dad was alive or whatever the case it is. Her dad was alive. And she was saying, I don't know if she was having a Bible study with him or whatever the case it is, but she started talking about how they would have Bible study and they would be reading the Bible, and she would notice that the Bible itself, the words in the Bible, were changing. This gets into the whole shift change thing, this gets into the whole Mandela effect thing, and this also gets into like, hopping timelines and stuff, which I'm gonna get into that in a second. This is a real thing. This is a real phenomenon. This is not something that I'm just making up. So if you, what the, oh my God, mosquito. So, for example, in the Bible, I looked this up while I was looking for this stuff. In the Bible, it says, do not judge unless ye should be judged, right? Probably butchering that, but point is, if you know that verse, you know that verse. Now, it says in the Bible, do not judge. And the only reason I can sit here and tell you that while I was doing research and stuff, a pastor mentioned how he memorized that verse and nobody noticed, and that verse is no longer there. Long story short, because I got like 14 minutes on this whole thing, I don't want to make this 10 minutes. Long story short, I came on here to sit here and tell you. So not only go see the new Spider-Verse movie that came out because it deals with the stuff that I talk about, but to sit here and tell you that if you know the Word of God, or if you know bits and pieces of it, or certain phrases, or whatever the case it is, and you check the Bible every day, or you do whatever the case it is, you're going to have to go off your own memory. You're going to have to go off your own memory. You are going to have to not really say anything, and that's just it. You're not crazy. It's no false memory. You're not schizophrenic. You're not crazy. This is real, and it's happening. Which is why I have some of the stuff I have on my YouTube channel. So I wanted to sit there and say that. So much to the fact that basically a couple of days ago, either it was this week or last week, when I was sleeping on my uncle's couch, God sat there and told me and put it in my spirit as I was waking up. Didn't really have a dream or a vision of it. He just put it in my spirit that basically there are different Bibles in different worlds, and that's it. That's all he told me. There are different Bibles in different worlds, and there you go. And that goes back into my first experience when I went to like another dimension and stuff, but that's like a whole nother story. But point is, that has some legitimacy behind it, because it has to, due to the fact that in the Bible, if you read the Bible, nobody really ever teaches you this stuff in church. You go in the Bible and look, have an assignment for you. Look up Moses with horns. I forgot, a Renaissance painter. He basically made a statue of Moses with horns. Never really grew up with Moses having horns, but that's one thing. Then there's also the fact of when Noah sending out a crow or a raven before he sent out a white dove. I grew up in church, grew up with that story. He sent out a white bird, a dove, and so much so that they have a movie for it. It's not Bruce Almighty, but it's Evan Almighty. And I strictly remember that even the devil's people, even though they mock God, they know the word of God. And Evan Almighty, he sent out the pair of Noah's Ark. They sent out a white dove. He sent out a white dove. And so there you go. A lot of other stuff. But point is, so if you've been remembering stuff that's in the Bible and it's not there, or you remember this, or whatever the case it is, you're not crazy. Because I also remember that there in the Bible, when Archangel Michael came to visit me when I was like in high school, wrote on his back and everything, he said a Bible verse, and in my Bible, he said something. And when I looked it up on the internet, it sat there and said that it basically sat there and said those exact words. So I'm not crazy, and this was in the Old Testament, I think. Yeah, it was in the Old Testament. And that verse is gone. So I wanted to sit here and come on and tell you this. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So have a blessed day.